Hello and welcome to the first edition of Tactical Shaminio, where once every week I'll give you an insight into small clips around sometimes real football, such as the Barclays Premier League or La Liga, or more often than not, virtual pro clubs online on FIFA, where I've managed top teams to make sure that they're the top of the world. So on this edition, I'm going to go through some clips from FIFA 15 online pro clubs from my team, Interbex, which is currently sitting around 5th in the world. I'm going to show you how to play through the middle on the opposition half, what sort of spaces to exploit, what sort of decisions you need to make, and the type of runs you need to make sure you do. I'm going to start off with this clip here. My team set up as a narrow midfield diamond. We show great transition and then subsequently a great goal. Here's the midfield diamond, and then further up, the two strikers pressing up against the defenders. Moving it forward a little touch, you can see the left-sided midfielder pass into the attacking midfielder. The two strikers, as you can see, are exploiting relatively big gaps in between the defenders on that back line. The attacking midfielder's got space to run into to then provide a through ball. With the right sort of timing and movement, this sort of play is devastating and ruthless. However, this sort of play needs to be modified when playing against teams that have a deeper defence or park the bus. Players need to be very clever with their movements to ensure that you're dragging players out of position and not allowing the opposition team to put back pressure onto you. Here's a couple of clips that show you a few errors that invite pressure onto your own defence. If I stop the clip here, you've got a deep defence already. The two strikers are looking to press on and move into that space onto the defenders. The right-sided midfielder has got space to run into, although the right-sided midfielder has taken the wrong decision and tried to force the play, instead of further running into that space and dragging players and enticing them into you. Moving it forward a little bit, the striker passes it back to create a little bit of space. However, the earlier pass had already caused enough damage to break down this attack. Right now, there's absolutely no threat on from the strikers, from any of the midfielders. The opposition defence is deep, the opposition midfield is packed, and the only real viable pass on is back to the defensive midfield to reset that attack and create space. However, moving it forward, you can see that the play is forced into an area where there's not space to move. But you can ask, you can try and make the best out of a bad situation. That's true to a certain extent. You can pass to the other forward to his feet to create a bit of space and drag some defenders in. However, the right-sided midfielder uses this opportunity to force through a through ball to the right-sided striker when an opportunity and a gap isn't there, and therefore allowing the opposition team to put pressure back on us. Here's another example of a poor decision on a deep-lying defence and trying to force the play. So here you have the right-sided midfielder actually deciding to move into that space. But if I were to stop it right here, you can see the central area is very congested and there's no viable option for a through ball. However, all is not lost. You can pass it back to this midfielder here to retain possession, or alternatively, if you wanted to cause a threat, it can be passed into this striker here and therefore dragging defenders towards him to open up that gap for the other striker to move through and for that through ball to be passed in. But, as I said earlier, the player's taken the wrong decision to force the play into an area that can only mean loss of possession and then a counter-attack being set up. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next week for some further analysis. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm also on Twitter as Tactical Sham. and Facebook as Tactical Shaminio. And I'll see you next week. Bye!